Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Intel. It is time for another update, and there is finally another chance that we may have entered the larger area of support here in the shorter time frame. We need to update that and we will get to it and the possible direct continuation to the upside in a few moments, but quickly on the larger time frame for any of you who might be new. Here we are tracking a number of scenarios, but in all of them we are focusing on this 1-2 setup where we are expecting to follow through within a larger wave 3, a fourth and a fifth to complete the larger uptrend. Now, in the other interpretations on the large time frame, they would only really change how we view these movements that have occurred to the upside so far, where we could have a series of 1-2 setups, and then even here another 1-2. It could be a series of 1-2 setups, and then this could be the actual wave 3, have here a fourth, and then have a fifth wave developing in this area. A number of, all of these could work out just fine. And again, as I mentioned in many of the previous videos, it does not matter at this point which of these interpretations really is occurring, and it will not really have any importance until we actually develop this larger structure to the upside, this entire 5-wave move to the upside. Now, in the shorter time frame, we have so far held the area, the critical area of support for a 1-2 movement, and we have started most likely the larger wave 3. Now, if we end up breaking this area of support once again, we will probably have to revisit the larger time frame and consider that this is probably not going to work out. It's probably not going to hold, and we may even form a new local low, but it certainly doesn't seem to be the case, at least not at this point. And on this smaller time frame, we have been tracking a possible leading diagonal forming to the upside, where we were, even in the previous video, still expecting here in the shorter time frame direct continuation to the upside. We have found it, and at this point we can remove this area of support, and honestly it is still possible for it to extend further. I would prefer to push into the larger area of support, which we can now extend higher, and it is between the $35.1 all the way down to the $25.8 level. And as long as we hold this area of support, we can still track another fifth wave to the upside, and once that is done, we will actually have the nice 5-wave move. Having a wave 1 complete, we can look for a 3-wave correction for an opportunity for an entry in a follow-up 1-2 setup here on a larger time frame, and then we can look forward for the larger wave 3, which should have actually quite extended targets. Now, at this point, I cannot give you a target for the internal wave 3, but if you remember, we have previously checked the ideal target for the larger wave 3 for this 1-2 setup that is supposedly complete already, and it is around the $198 level at the 138.2% extension. Now, we don't need to reach this target within this 1, 2, 3. We can do the entire structure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to actually reach it, no problem. So yeah, we may have a more detailed view of the expected targets once we actually complete the wave 1 and the wave 2, but at this point no further guidance can really be had in this area. Now, in the shorter time frame, as I was mentioning, we might have the larger wave 3 complete, and we would be looking for a correction in a wave 4 in this area of support in yellow. And by the way, it is only in yellow just to be clearly visible. It is not a different interpretation or a different scenario. And within this structure to the upside, I could consider it complete. I could consider an ABC pattern done, but I do want to mention that here in this area, even at this point, I could look for further extensions higher, where I could consider this a 1-2. This would be a third. We could be looking for a follow-up wave 4, and then a fifth wave still to push higher. And in that case, we can draw an additional area of support. And in fact, we will also extend this here. Yeah, we will shift the count higher. is the internal wave tree that has occurred within what we have been tracking. But honestly, at this point, we should maybe even track this under a different interpretation, maybe under the white scenario, the further continuation higher, where in the blue, I will be mainly focusing here on the larger correction. Now, here in the white scenario, we have reached the first level of support, and we do have this entire area that would still allow for the continuations higher. And the area of support is between the $37 level all the way down to the $32 level at the 50% retracement. Now, I have to say, we need to form a 5-wave structure to the upside within this interpretation. If we are to follow through within the blue interpretation, meaning that we push lower in a wave 4, and then form the 5th wave to the upside, this would be useful in case we push lower into the area of support in yellow, but we are still also within the area of support in white and we push higher, because in the blue interpretation, we will be tracking an ABC pattern, whereas in the white interpretation, we will be expecting a 5-wave move to the upside instead. And in that case, we will be able to determine if the follow-up movement to the upside has indeed formed the larger 5th wave and completed the larger 5-wave move to the upside, or if it is still within this internal structure in this area. At this point, we don't really have other options than tracking this as a leading diagonal to the upside, so these are pretty much all the relevant information relating to Elliott wave theory that I see here on this chart at the moment. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.